My name is James Marshall, and I am the CEO and founder of The Natural Lifestyles, which is an Australian-based natural seduction and lifestyle design company. And I'm a returning speaker 2 times to the 21 convention. My background is a pretty colourful and checkered career. Unlike a lot of seduction coaches, I didn't come from a position where I was, say, like a technical guy, a computer nerd or something, and then suddenly figured out some system in my basement and then went out and started picking up chicks, in LA. My background was very diverse. I was a very nerdy, shy, and musically skilled kid. I played the flute and studied opera singing at a young age, which was not the coolest thing you could do in Australia at the time, and I paid for that dearly by being beaten up a lot, which led me to start studying martial arts at quite a young age. And I became very obsessed about particularly Shaolin Kung Fu, or Kung Fu for you guys out there, Kung Fu. And this led me on a journey to actually travel to China, live in China, and eventually study in Shaolin Temple. So the background of my seduction abilities was actually forged in the mountains of Henan province when I was hitting rocks and meditating, because I learnt presence, I learned how to understand myself at a deep level, I learned how to have command over my body and my intention, and how to read the present moment. And there's a lot of talk about being in the now, and awareness is kind of a new buzzword in the self-help industry. It's very important to develop, but it's important to understand that this doesn't just come from reading The Power of Now and thinking sometimes I should be more aware. It's actually a lifelong process of truly living in the moment. From that, your seduction skills skyrocket, because a woman wants to be standing in front of a man who is truly present and with her, because then you get to create a magical moment. I went from that into becoming a hedonistic musician as I pulled out my flute once again and then started playing wacky funk with it. Spent years traveling around Australia as a broke musician, having a lot of fun. Became a massage therapist and had a brief stint as a porn star in a feminist erotica movie, which is quite hilarious. And then eventually, more or less out of chance, started this business, which has then led me to travel to, 35 countries around the world, having wild adventures, meeting very interesting men and women, and now spreading my message. The Natural Lifestyles coaches primarily men, although we have coached some girls, from around the world in strategies and principles on how to naturally engage with women without the need to have scripted lines or routines, and at the same time how to change themselves from a core level in terms of their belief systems, their ideologies in terms of what it means to be a man in this modern world, and also strategies on how to develop a lifestyle that naturally draws towards you passive social, sexual and financial income, and creates a life that perhaps the Coen brothers would be happy to make a movie about. When I first started this company about 6 years ago, really it started as 2 guys who were broke, didn't have any skills that they could make money out of. We were looking at a Latin dancer and a funk musician at the time. We started this company essentially to see if we could get paid to get laid. And we did. And we started to get really good results with the students. And over time, as we matured as men and as people, we started to draw in a whole lot of other specialists in different areas. And what we saw was that in order to be really great with women, you need to be a man who works on all aspects of his life, not just going out there and picking up girls. Because then it's simply a performance skill that you turn on and off, it's something separate to you. And so for myself, I know over the last 6 years, I've gone through a massive evolution in conjunction with the company, and I think what I teach now expresses that, in that you need to be continually evolving and growing as a man and testing yourself internally and against the world if you want to move past stagnation points, if you want to remain young and vital, and if you want to be attractive and to attract not just women, but all the great things that life has to offer. So I see the Natural Lifestyles as a vehicle for myself to evolve, and as I do that, everyone that is drawn in to meet me, either clients or guys I work with, people that I do collaborations with, we start to infect each other with these amazing ideas and then cross-pollinate them. So in a way, I learn just as much from my students as I do from some of the other amazing coaches and the very challenging women that I meet throughout my life. So I see the natural lifestyles at the forefront of a new men's movement, which a lot of guys such as Anthony Johnson and some of the other very spectacular and men with high integrity in this field are actually at the vanguard of. Unlike a lot of the companies in the dating industry, we don't teach techniques per se, in the sense that we don't teach a scripted ABC method to achieve results with women, because in my opinion, seduction and dating is not linear. It's actually very flexible and spontaneous and should be so. So instead what we've done is we've backwards engineered the principles that men who are naturally gifted with women have. And I have nailed those down to 5 major principles, and these are the basis for everything that I teach. These are the ability, first and foremost, to have awareness, internal awareness to understand your own emotional state, your thinking processes, the way your physiology and your emotions and your thoughts interact, and then to have external awareness of what's going on around you in terms of the environment and, most importantly, the girl that you're speaking with. Because it is actually the woman that will teach you how to seduce her through her responses to your advances. From there, we move on to the concept of intent, which is how you project and assert your own desires. Because a lot of men have a lot of shame, guilt, and fear about the fact that they are sexual beings, and therefore they actually censor themselves, which is a very unattractive thing to women when they're being approached, because the women can see immediately that they kind of want them, but they're scared to show that. From there, we move on to the other core principles. From this, I've developed some very unique coaching programs that allow guys to have very concrete principles to play with. It's not like just go out there, be natural. We do certainly have a strategy and a step-by-step methodology, but at the same time, it's very flexible to the individual, and how they want to express that. So that experimental process that I and my coaches have been through over the last 6 years of coaching professionally has led us to build some very unique coaching programs around the world, including the longest term live-in traveling residential in the world, which is the Euro Tour, a 10-day around-the-clock madcap adventure through Central Europe with, in my opinion, the best natural seduction coaches in the world in a very small group, as well as other specialist programs such as understanding tantric sexuality, sensual massage, and many of the, I guess, broader and deeper philosophies behind becoming a very successful and long-term ladies' man. In terms of the success that we've had with students and coaches on the tour, well, for me it's been really good because I get to travel a lot and get paid and get laid, so that's nice. But more importantly, for the students on the road, of course, what we see is that guys certainly meet women along the way and have beautiful romances with them, but in a way that's more of a side effect to the most important aspects, which is the fact that the Euro Tour is in itself a man's initiation. Because I think in today's Western societies, we tend to lack male initiation ceremonies, whereas in a lot of traditional societies, when you were of a certain age, you were taken out to perform certain duties or certain, pass certain tests that would bring you into manhood. And because of the absence of, generally the absence of fathers and the kind of explosion of the masculine-feminine dynamic, a lot of men don't have that. And the Euro Tour acts like that. We see guys going through a massive personal transformation whilst on this trip, not only in the terms of results with women, but in terms of asserting themselves as men, understanding themselves on a very deep level, knowing and facing their demons and their fears, and not smashing through them, but more like just piercing through them gently, one at a time, to a point where they come to a place where they are at ease with themselves, which is, in my opinion, one of the most attractive attributes a man can have. To be okay with himself, even if he's not perfect.